Alright, what's going on everyone? So this is the game that we're going to begin to make. Now it's not at all finished and we're going to be adding so much more to this, but this is an idea of what it is. It's just like a space shooter. So when I shoot the asteroids and you'll see that there's explosions. Okay, you can see that there's a health bar in the green on the top left, and there's also 3 lives, as well as the scores increasing. Now, if I get hit by an asteroid, let's say a big asteroid like that, and a small one, it'll explode the ship, and then I will also lose a life, as you can see on the top right. And if I go ahead and have the small ones hit me, that's a little bit of damage, medium damage, and that's it. So then after the 3 lives are done, the game will be over. Of course, we're gonna add like a game, like a replay game, an intro, graphics, power-ups, all that other stuff. So we're gonna make it here. Now, one of the things that I have to say is that for the graphics, I definitely cannot draw. So I had to go and I went to opengameart.org, and there's a guy named Kenny, and he does fantastic work. So I took a lot of his stuff there. Also, another really good tutorial that I had used when I first started learning the program a very long time ago was by Kids Can Code on YouTube. So you should totally check them out. And yeah. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to create a template. Okay, so we're going to import, let's import PyGame. Okay, and we'll also import time, which we'll be using, and import random. Okay, we're going to be using random to randomly have the asteroids come down in different directions or wherever they spawn, and the timing is going to be for the bullets, or pretty much for a lot of things like frames per second when you're showing explosions, because an explosion doesn't just naturally come, right? It's a frame by frame image that gets displayed every millisecond. Okay, so from there, get our colors. All right, so I'm going to use pretty much like the standard ones: 255, 255, 255 for white, black, 000, red, it's 25500, green, that is 02550, blue 00255. And we'll use yellow. I'm going to use that as my laser, just as like my template for my laser when I shoot a bullet. Okay, then we have some settings here. So the first thing is we need to then call pygame.init. We need to initialize pygame. Okay, we're also going to be using pygame.mixer. Okay, .init. This is for sounds. So initialize for sounds. Okay, then let's see, let's create a screen. So I'm going to keep my width 480. Okay, so not too big, and then my height will be 600, so it's like a rectangle. And we will create a screen, so we'll use pygame.display.set_mode. Okay, and inside of these parentheses we're going to create a tuple, so another parentheses. Okay, and this is going to be the width comma the height. So this will create a screen that's 480 pixels but 600 pixels with the height. Okay, let's see what else. Well, we need to have an icon. So like, see up here where it has all of this. I don't want to see all of this. I want to just say space shooter. So pygame.display.set_caption. We'll create that. All right, and we'll just do space shooter. And what else do we need here? Well, let's also create an object for keeping time for our FPS. So FPS would be 60. Okay, so this is going to be our frames per second, and this is what we're going to use to keep track that the game is running efficiently at 60 frames per second. Okay, then I'm going to just add some other things. So I know that we're going to be using sprites, so I'm going to put game sprites here. Okay, then I know that I'm going to have functions. I know that I'm going to want to use sprites. Well, actually, put classes there. And then sprites. Okay, now this is not necessary. This is just what I do. And then we want the main game loop. Okay, and we'll just create this main game loop for now so that we can have like a display window, and all we're doing right now is just setting up a template. So we're going to have running equals true, and we'll say while running, okay, let's do the following. Well, first of all, we want to keep track, or we'll say keep the game running at 60 frames per second. So we're going to say clock.tick in parentheses. Now you can either choose to put 60 there. I'm just going to put FPS since I have the variable FPS being 60. So it's the same thing as me just writing 60, but if I wanted to ever change it, I don't need to search through it and change the number. I can literally just change the value here for the variable, and then every single time that it's found, it'll change it. Okay, and that goes for any variable. So while, and after that, actually, let's keep this as nice and organized. Check for events. Okay, an event, anything that you do on this computer. So if I type down a spacebar, that's an event. If I scroll from here to here, these are all events, hundreds and thousands of events occurring every single second. So for event in pygame.event.get, okay, if the type of event, so if event.type is equal to pygame.quit, okay, quit being this small little red button up here, then we want to end the loop. And to do that, we just have to make this false, running. So we're going to say running is equal to false. Okay, because once it's false, then the while loop cannot be completed and it will exit out. So running is false, and then down here we'll say we're going to update. All right, we're going to leave this piece blank for now because we're going to update mostly our sprites here, okay, and anything else that's going on in the game. Then we will draw to the screen, okay. So like if we're drawing a scoreboard or an image, sprites, anything. So here we'll do screen dot fill. Okay, so we're using that display window, the screen. We're filling it, and we're going to fill it with fill it with black this time. And in addition to that, we will say update after drawing everything to the screen. So we're going to update everything at the end, which would be pygame.display. Now I use .update. Okay, what you might see other people use is pygame.display.flip. All right, but I'm gonna use. They will both do the exact same thing. All right, I'm sure that there are minor things that will obviously differentiate them. I'm not entirely sure, but I use always pygame.display.update. Okay, and then once we're done with all of that, outside of the loop, pygame.quit. Okay, we're going to write this outside of the loop because all of this is occurring within the loop. If you wanted to exit out of the game, then we would make this false, right here. Once this is false, all of this gets exited out, and we just want to make sure that we're closing the Pygame since we initialized it up here. So we opened up Pygame for us to use. We want to make sure that we quit Pygame at the end. Okay, so if we go ahead and we run this, let's see if there's any errors. Oh, black is not defined, so hopefully you guys caught that. Equal sign, and this is what we should have, just a plain black screen. Okay, notice that there's none of this at the top of all this huge path here. There's just space shooter, and if we hit the red button, bam, it exits out, and that's exactly what we wanted to do just for the beginning portion of this. Okay, so in the next video, what we'll do is we will introduce a sprite, and that sprite will be the ship. Okay, so we're not going to use images yet, but we're going to just create a rectangle and we're going to move it side to side the way that a ship would normally operate on a space shooting game. Okay, awesome.